Yeah, I'm good to go.
Okay.
All right, you are good, and here goes the encoder. You are live.
All right. Welcome to Terry and Gary's Low Expectations podcast. I don't think it's 15th, 16th, 17th episode, somewhere in there. Seasoned veterans. Yeah. And today we have an awesome guest, David Howard Thornton, aka Art the Clown or Grandpa Who, depending on what you like to watch. How you doing, Dave?
I'm doing well. How are you guys doing?
Well, I'm doing great. I know Gary's doing great because he just seen me about 30 minutes ago. So
always brightens my day when I get to see the guy.
Oh,
you're here,
right.
So Terry, why don't you start talking to David? I'm going to get these shared on the different platforms.
Okay, Dave, I just watched you as Art the Clown, and now, how did you get casted for that? Like, how did that come about? You know, as far as, you know, I thought it was brilliant, you know, and I definitely was terrified.
well, thank you very much.
Did you have to audition, or how'd that go about?
Yeah. I lucked out though, because it was a weird time in my life, because I was at that point I was trying more to like pursue musical theater as a career path. And I was in the middle of doing all these musical theater auditions. I had been up for 4 different Broadway tours and final callbacks for these major roles in them. And every single one of those fell through for one reason or another. Like one of them literally came down to a flip of a coin. And so I was kind of getting discouraged, and I came across this notice on a website looking for a tall, skinny actor that has clowning or physical comedy experience to play Art the Clown. I'm like, I'd already seen All Hallows Eve, so I was already familiar with the character. I was like, oh my God, is this real? I'm like, I have to play him. This is perfect for me. This would be a great segue for me to get into, you know, doing film work and stuff like that too. So I contacted my reps, and I'm like, guys, I know I can knock this one out of the park. So they sent me in for it. I go in there, you know, when they told me to go in, they just said, just bring your headshot and resume. And I'm like, okay. So I did that. I walk into the room, and all these people got scripts in their hands, and I'm like, oh no, I don't have one. Oh, and then, you know, I started going panic mode, because like this is my first major film audition, and I'm like, oh my God, I came in here I was pissed at my agents because I felt like I had been left hanging there. And so I go into the room when they call me in. I'm like, I am so sorry, I didn't get a script. And they're like, oh, you don't need one. I'm like, what? They're like, yeah, Art doesn't talk, so we want to see you just come up with a scene. Just improvise a scene where you decapitate a guy and you're really happy about doing it. I'm like, okay, cool. Can I think about it for a few minutes? They're like, no, we want to see what we can do on your feet. I'm like, okay, cool. And so I improvised the scene right there on the spot. I don't know where it came from like some dark part of my brain, where I like snuck up behind my victim, like very, you know, Tex Avery Wolfish type of thing, and like knocked him in the head, sawed off his head, picked it up, tasted it, didn't like the taste of the blood. So I took out a salt shaker and seasoned it. Then I liked it, and I kind of bathed in the blood for a second. Then I just like, you know, skipped out on my merry way, and that's what got me the role.
Nice.
Yeah, they asked me right there if I was willing to come in for, you know, a makeup test and everything like that. So I felt like right there, that's when I booked it. You know, it's just like, it was the craziest audition, but also like one of the best auditions I've ever had too, because it's like, it was one of those where I walk out of the room really feeling like, okay, I've nailed this. I've got this. That's one of those feelings that every actor, you know, dreams.
Right.
It's like, Gary realizing that you were actually good at killing this.
It's like, imagine that. I should have been doing this the whole time.
Really like that. So you said, go ahead.
Now, one of the things I really liked is the diner scene at the beginning of the movie. And I thought, you know, I try to look into the movie and the characters and all that stuff. And you know, I'm entertained by the movies too. But you know, I thought it was brilliantly placed, because it kind of, you know, you see your character and everything, and the audience is introduced to it. and not just a horror movie, but it's a really good horror movie, and it's suspenseful, and I think it's got all the things that I really like in a horror movie, and a lot of people like. And sometimes, I remember you were shushing. I forget what part it was, but they had background noise too. So for an actor that doesn't, I thought they put it together really well too. That doesn't say anything or a character. They kind of, so it's really suspenseful, and it's kind of cool how you don't talk.
I agree. It's just like, first of all, I love that scene. That's my favorite scene in the film to do.
Mhm.
Because I got to play around a lot in that scene, really just experiment and see what I could come up with. That's where like Damien gave me a lot of free range just to improv and stuff like that. But also that's the scene where you see every aspect of the character. It's a great introduction to him, because you don't need a background or exposition or anything like that. You know what he's about from that scene alone. You see every facet of the character right there, front and center, and you're like, okay, this is who this guy is. Wow, he's a messed up individual.
Right.
And it was fun. And you're talking about, I think you're talking about that scene with the shushing where I'm with the baby and the
Right. In the little hallway.
I thought that was such a, like, I didn't know that Damien had done that with the sound, where he made the sound of the pipes with the steam escaping. I was like, oh, that's brilliant.
Yeah.
Like, I love that. Because I like that aspect of the character where I don't have to worry about talking, because I don't have to worry about memorizing lines for once.
Oh, there you go.
That's a wonderful thing. I just show up on set. I'm like, what am I doing today, man?
Right.
It's like, oh, you're gonna do this. I'm like, okay. Everybody else is like, pouring over their script and like rehearsing lines. I'm like, okay, just put the makeup on me. I'm ready to go.
Right. Now, is it a little more difficult that you don't have lines, because the body language kind of has to say, a line almost,
Yeah, it can be a little bit more difficult in that way, but I'm like, I have a huge background in physical comedy and stuff like that, because I grew up watching the great silent comedians, all the way from Chaplin all the way up to Rowan Atkinson, who was Mr. Bean. And I love that style of comedy, and there's so much storytelling just done with facial expressions and movements. And when I toured with the Grinch, I was the Grinch's understudy as well, and our Grinch was the amazingly talented Stephen Carl, who played Robbie Rotten on the show called Lazy Town that was on Nick Jr. And Stephen was a master at clowning. I believe he actually studied it, and he really taught me a lot about it. And just how it's all about observing and playing off of your environment, and you have to draw focus to certain things and show that you're noticing things. And there's a lot of acting done with the eyes. And that's what I learned from him, and I applied a lot of that to art. And you can, if you're familiar with the Stephen's work, you can probably see a lot of Stephen in my portrayal of art as well. Yeah.
Right.
Art the Clown was already created. I mean, it seems like it was created for you, just the way you made it larger than life, in the movie. But what did you take from the previous Art the Clown and bring into your portrayal of him?
Well, the original Art the Clown was Mike Gianelli, who did a fantastic job in All Hallows Eve. He really set a strong foundation for me to build my, I guess you could say, art house on. But I hate, it sounds like it's such a cliche, but it's like I literally had big shoes to fill. I believe I'm wearing his actual shoes that we've only had this one pair of shoes that I've worn for both films so far, and it's like, oh boy. But it's like he really set the bar high for me, and so I took what he did and I just put my own thing on it. Like I kind of went from like the Kane Hodder kind of school of taking over a role, where Kane saw what the previous Jasons had done, but then he added his own physicality to the character that made it his own. And that's what I did with Art. I think more of that is I added more of the clowning aspect to him.
Yeah, it seems like your theater background kind of brought out, into the character Art the Clown, just with the, like you said, the shushing and the physical, looks and laughs, and it was for me, I think it's one of the best characters in probably the last 20 or 30 years. So,
well, thank you. He's just fun to play. It's just It's a new style. It's a type of character I always wanted to play as an actor too, especially because I grew up on those great comedians, and you don't see that kind of acting anymore. And I wanted to bring it back in a way, and it's kind of interesting. I'm getting to bring it back, but through horror of all things.
Right.
And
Now,
you mentioned, go ahead.
No, go ahead, Gary.
Well, I was to say, you mentioned you got to wear his shoes twice, so that means Terrifier 2 is almost done, correct?
Yes. We're very, very close. Very, very close to being finished with that. It's oh man. I can't wait for you guys to see what we've been up to with this. It's fantastic. It's just like we set out to keep doing what we did in Terrifier 1, but build on it. We didn't want to pull back at all. Because that happens from time to time where people play it too safe. We wanted to keep pushing the envelope with the character, and so we especially with the gore, we have not pulled back on the gore at all. Not, I mean, in the first 2 minutes of the film, it's almost like a rated X movie with the gore.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So you know what we're about from the very first few minutes of the film. You're like, if you can handle that, you're good for the rest of the film.
Will there be a cutting Dawn in half again from the bottom down, I guess, or up, or
there's especially this one scene that's it's not cutting someone in half in that style, but it's still going to be just as violent in that kind of way, where it's just like, oh my god, I cannot believe you're doing this and you're showing this right now. It's like, because that's one thing, like Damien pointed out to me one day when we were on set, when we were filming even the first scene in the film, where it's like, I go in for my initial blow, and Damien's like, hey, Dave, you realize that what we did just in that little bit right there would have been a whole entire kill in a Jason movie. That would have been it. I'm like, yeah. And we keep going.
Well, I think. Go ahead, Gary.
No,
I think Gary brought up.
Yeah.
I think Gary brought up that point where you cut that poor lady in half.
Mm-hmm.
And Gary knows I have a passion for blondes. And
he had to close his eyes.
I told Gary, I go, they had me, but right when they cut the blonde girl in half, when they killed the blonde girl, you lost me.
Broke your heart.
I was rooting for her, but in the beginning, and I don't want to. I recommend a lot of people to watch it. It's a great movie, and I loved how certain things will happen in the beginning, and then like later on in the movie, like for example, in the diner, the blonde girl, I forget her name, but she takes a selfie with you.
Yes.
And then I'm not going to give it away, but I like how things, and it actually popped me later on what happened in the movie. But yeah, I think I know what you're talking about, but I recommend people watching it. And I kind of like that, like you were saying with your audition, how you put a little salt on there, and then you taste it, then you liked it. It's a lot of that stuff right there. It's just it's very entertaining, and it keeps the audience watching, and you might get a little different reaction out of them. Like horror movies are usually closing your eyes and on pins and needles, but sometimes if you smile or laugh, it's pretty cool though too.
Yeah. That's Art's thing, is it's like the homeless woman points out at one point in the film, he does this because it's funny to him.
Yeah,
it's pure amusement. This is like, that's what I love about the characters. Like so many horror villains, they're on a quest for revenge or something like that. Art does it because he just enjoys it. It's fun. Yeah. That's what gets his rocks off. And I'm like, I think that makes him scary in that way. It's just like, my God, he doesn't really have a rhyme or reason other just to like have some fun.
Right.
How much free range did you get as far as the character goes throughout the movie? I mean, was it a lot of it scripted to like, do this, or was it just basically you in the scene, like your kind of like your audition? Or
I mean, it was a little bit, I would say about 50-50 of each, because like Damien's really cool as a director that way, where sometimes he knows exactly what he wants down to the very eyebrow lift that I might give or something like that. He knows. And we had some times on set where where he would like, I want you just to make this face, and I'm like, that makes no sense. He's like, just trust me, and I've learned to trust him because I'll see the footage. I'm like, oh my god, that is freaky. Okay, I see what you're going for there now. Yeah. So it's like, it's one of those things where like we have a mutual trust in each other, because there, those times where I have to trust in him, and there's some times where he just trusts in me. He's like, I'm just gonna let you play for a while and see what you come up with in the moment, because he's like, you sometimes come up with things I couldn't even think of, and I'm like, okay, cool. It's like he's more the horror guy, I'm more the comedy guy, and we kind of just blend those two together, and it works really well. It's definitely a team effort there. And I feel very lucky to be able to work with a director like that, because I know there are a lot of directors out there that are not like that, where it's their way or the highway.
And Damien created the character, correct? I mean,
correct. It's purely his, yeah.
Yeah, so that mind, woo.
Yeah. Oh, he's got a great mind for horror. It's like he grew up on horror. I mean, he's named after Damien from The Omen.
Oh, no kidding.
he was watching horror movies, I think, at like 3 or 4 years old, and this was like his love letter to the genre. He's kind of like a lot of us are, where we're tired of seeing all these watered down horror films. They're just playing it safe, and he's like, he wanted to get it back to where it used to be, especially with slashers.
Right.
And he's like, if no one else is going to make those type of movies, I'll make my own, damn it.
Right.
And that's what he did.
Hey, Terry, do you think that there'd be an Art the Clown kind of character in wrestling, in the world of wrestling? Think something like that would work?
Well, they had Doink the Clown, and then they had an evil Doink the Clown, but I think kind of like an Art the Clown would have been really great in a company called like ECW or a more extreme company. And I think that would have gotten over even in like the Attitude Era and stuff like that. So I think a character like that, because like you said, Art the Clown, he just does it because he finds it funny, and that's how he gets his rocks off type deal. And I think if that character, if someone could do that in wrestling,
that'd be a great heel.
Right, exactly. Yeah. So, and then eventually people would like him so much he'd be a baby face.
By the first match, they'd love him. So.
It just tells you how society's rolling.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I know like Jericho has done a little bit with like the makeup and stuff like that.
Oh yeah,
Jericho's a huge fan, so
Jericho's a hell of a guy too. So I've worked with him quite a bit, and I've learned so much from him over the years. He's just so talented in so many ways.
Oh, yeah. So. He really is. I did a podcast with him last year, and that was a lot of fun. And he's basically become part of the Terrifier family now too. He talks to Damien a lot now. So
does he?
Oh yeah.
Nice. Now, when is Terrifier 2 going to come out? Have you guys had a release date?
Well, we don't have an official release date now because, the whole stupid virus and stuff like that kind of put a wrench in things. Because we originally wanted to release this fall around October because, the movie takes place on Halloween again, takes place a year after the first film.
Okay.
And so that's we wanted to release on Halloween, but now because the virus has kind of set us back with filming, and because Damien has to, and once we're done with filming, he has to do all the editing. Then we have to approach distribution, so that takes a few months usually to square all that kind of stuff away. So if they can make the DVDs and whatever else has to be done.
Right.
So I don't think it's going to be, realistically, I don't think it's going to be able to come out this fall. I'm thinking maybe early next year. I think, but that's all out of my control. That's all Damien's deal. So I can't say for sure right now. I do know that he's supposed to be releasing a trailer sometime soon.
Okay.
So I don't even know when he's doing that yet. It's just like but I think he's saying by the end of the month a trailer should be coming out, like a teaser trailer or something like that. So I'm very excited about that too, because I'm very interested to see what's going to be on this thing.
Yeah, me too. So, and the good thing about Art the Clown is, we all know merchandise is a big thing, whether it's wrestling or movies, from Star Wars, and then John Cena and Austin with the Jericho with all the merchandise, and Art the Clown. I mean, it's just, there's so much you can do with this merchandise. I mean, the sky's the limit, and it's one of those things where it's such a great character.
I agree. I really hope Damien gets involved with someone that can really just help him do all that kind of stuff, because I Damien's a writer and director and all. He's not like the businessman when it comes to that kind of stuff. So I would love to see us get involved in something that could really help us do. I mean, we already have some merch out there. We have our T-shirts with like, you know, Terra threads. We have our mask with Immortal Mask, and Trick or Treat Studios who's also doing an action figure of us. But you know, I would like to see more of it too. It's just like I would love to see a Funko Pop figure, NECA figure, all that kind of stuff. I mean, we could even get art into like Dead by Daylight, the video game, or you know, I know like with a lot of the Mortal Kombat games, they've been doing a lot of DLC with horror characters. I'm like, oh my God, especially after the second film comes out, they could totally bring him into like a future Mortal Kombat game.
Right.
You know, it's like that moveset's going to be expanded a lot in the second film. So I would love to see this kind of stuff. It's, you know, it's kind of cool. I mean, we already have the Halloween costumes that have been released and stuff like that too. So that's awesome. Pretty cool, you know. And I think
3 and 4 and 5. I mean,
oh yeah,
keep going.
And I already know like some of the looks that we have going on for Terrifier 2. You know, I think that's going to just lend itself to some more cosplay or some more figure ideas. And then our female lead in this, her Halloween costume that she wears, I was like, you've probably already seen photos of it. This is like Valkyrie type costume, it's warrior, you know, angel type character, and it looks so badass. And I'm like, God, I would love to see figurines of that one day. I would love to see people dressing up like that for Halloween, stuff like that. It's like, it's such an awesome looking costume, but it's a pain in the ass for that poor girl to wear. I felt so sorry for our actress Lauren Olivera, because it's like, God, they had to strap her into that thing, basically duct tape her in every single night. It was the most miserable thing, and we were filming in like, you know, freezing cold weather, and she's having to wear that thing. I know I was cold, and she's having to wear that all night and then get covered in blood and whatever else too. I'm like, oh man.
Now, as far as when you guys film, because obviously you film at night. Now, do you start like right when the sun goes down, and then you work throughout the night, and then sleep during the day? How does that go?
Yeah, that's pretty much how it goes, especially when we have the exterior scenes. That's how we have to do it. I mean, sometimes we're able to, you know, when we had the interior scenes, we could do stuff during the daytime because we could just black out light and stuff like that and still look like nighttime. But that's usually how it goes. I mean, those days on set are long days. I mean, I know I've been on set sometimes up to 18, 20 hours.
Yeah.
So it's because I have to get there earlier just to do my makeup, because that takes like, shoot. Excuse me. It's not coronavirus, I swear.
Put my mask on. Keep doing it.
Yeah, no, I know. No, it's my daily sneeze. I sneeze once a day. Yeah, it's like, oh, of course it has to happen now. But yeah, I have to, it takes like 3 hours for me to put that makeup and stuff like that on. So it's and it's even worse for Damien, because Damien does my makeup and he does Lauren's makeup, and he has to and he has to get us out of that makeup, especially for her, because she's got all this, you know, as you know, the movie goes on, people get battle damage, so he has to take all the battle damage off all these different actors and stuff like that at the end of the night too. And then he sometimes has to stay up and make the molds for the next day. And I'm like, he'll sometimes go 2 or 3 days of no sleep.
Yeah.
I don't know how he functions. I really don't. Damien is like the most mild-mannered, low-key guy too on set. So we might have things just going wrong left and right, and he just kind of like, yeah. You okay, Damien? Yeah. It's like I think maybe one time I saw him ever lose his shit, and it wasn't even on set. Well, actually I didn't see this, but I heard the story. They're at a diner, it like this person drooled right into his food and he lost his shit. Like the waiter, and he's like, what the? I'm like, oh no. I was like, someone should have taped that for me. I would love to see it.
Right.
We can definitely tell it's a labor of love for him to put so much time and effort into it, creating the character, doing the makeup, like you said, directing it. So I mean, it comes across on film. So
it's his passion, and I think that's why it comes across so well in film. It's like you have someone that is truly passionate about this genre, making the films for this genre, and that's why you get the better product. It's, you know, that's how it just goes when you have like, look at the Marvel films, when you actually have the geeks in charge of that kind of material, that's when you get the better product.
Right.
Because they actually care about it. It's not just about making money to them. They're like, no, we want to really tell a good story the way it should be told.
Right. Now, when did you get into acting? And
I got into it, probably when I was like 2 or 3 years old. Because I grew up in like the Methodist Church in Alabama, and so my parents were very involved with theater there at the church, and so they got me doing that. I mean, I actually started out singing before anything else because I was like a children's choir and stuff like that. So I come from a family of musicians. So I was a singer before I was an actor, but it was what really got me into it was in like middle school, because I was bullied a lot in middle school because I was one of those late bloomers. I didn't hit puberty till I was like 16. And I was shorter than everybody else in my class. I was skinny, glasses, braces, sang soprano in the choir. So, easy target, especially in Alabama where everybody else is all about football and stuff like that. I'm like, oh God. I mean, I played soccer, but no one cared about that. And my mom was like, at school, I went to a new school when I started middle school, and no one knew me there like they did in elementary school. And so I was very quiet and shy, and I got picked on relentlessly. I mean, thrown into the lockers, all that kind of stuff. Yes, your stereotypical stuff that happens to that.
Gary still does that to me. He throws me. Yeah. Gary's mean to me. He yells at me all the time. Yeah.
Yeah, jerk. But that's one of those things. Like it's like no one really got to see my real side at school because I was just so afraid. And my mom was very concerned about that. She's like, because at home I was always cracking jokes and being goofy and stuff like that. And she's like, have your classmates ever seen this side of you? And I was like, no, they don't let me. Well, she's like, well, this year they're doing your choral program's doing Mickey's Christmas Carol. I think you would be perfect for Mickey Mouse in that. Why don't you audition for it? Because you do a great Mickey Mouse impersonation. I'm like, okay, sure, I'll do that. And I auditioned for it, and I got the role, and I was having a great time. And we were doing our big, huge show in front of the school, and all of a sudden things just started happening wrong on set, like on stage. Like the set fell down on top of Scrooge and I at one part. Thank God it was only a cardboard set behind us. That would have been really bad. And there was another time where it was like the Cratchit dinner scene, and like the table that was holding our little meager chicken broke, and so it sent the chicken flying out over the audience. And it was those moments where I would, instead of just stopping like most people would do and just like, we got to reset, or just freezing up, I just went with it and started cracking jokes in character. And I had the audience, I basically turned it into like a improvised stand-up routine.
Yeah.
And I had the audience just eating out of the palm of my hand, laughing their butts off. And it was like the first time at that school where instead of people laughing at me and making fun of me, they were all laughing with me. And I was the one in control for once. I was like, oh my God, I love this feeling. This is a fantastic, I'm bringing joy to these people right now. And they're accepting it. And I'm like, I love this. I want more of this. This is I felt like a rock star.
Right.
And I'm like, I want more of this. And so I started getting involved in community theater, and it just snowballed from there. That's where I found my true calling in life.
So that moment, that was like where you came out of your shell.
It really was. It really was. That and for the rest of that school year, I still got bullied and stuff like that. But it started, I started getting out of my shell a lot more, especially when I got to my that next year, and when I got to high school, because I got involved in my high school's theater program, and people got to know that real side of me through that. So it changed my life. Totally changed my life.
Now, you did 5 years on the national tour for Dr. Seuss. Did you do anything before that as far as like school? Did you go to school for theater, or did you just jump right into theater?
Oddly enough, I did not get a degree in theater. I was trying to be practical. I was, because I was like, I love doing theater, but I was like, I want to be able to support a wife and kids one day. And I was like, I don't think I'll be able to do that with an acting, degree, because, it's such a crazy career path. It's so uncertain. It's no guarantees. And so I come from a long line of teachers in my family, and I love kids. And so it's like, why don't I pursue the same path that most people in my family pursue? I got a degree in elementary education. And I was going that route until my last semester in school. It was about a year after my mom passed away from cancer.
Oh, I'm sorry.
And I was at, well, that's where I am now is that was a catalyst, another catalyst in my life, because we had that final talk with each other where she's like, don't do what you think you have to do with your life. Do what you want to do with your life, because life is short. We only get one shot at this. I don't want you living with the same regrets that I have. So go out there and do what you want to do. Don't do what we think you want to do with your life. And I'm like, okay. And I was in my internship, and I was going down a spiral there, because that semester when I went back to do my internship in the schools, right before and right when I got there, I had like all these big horrible events happen in 1 month, where like my dog died, my grandmother died, one of my friends committed suicide, and my sister married a homeless man. So my head was just like in a weird space, and I was just so depressed. And I talked to my dad. I'm like, because I had just done story time in my classroom one day, and I was entertaining the kids, and I had them laughing, and I was doing all my little voices and stuff like that for the characters. And I'm like, Dad, I don't think I want to teach anymore. I think I want to be an actor instead. I think that's what my calling's supposed to be. I think I'm supposed to entertain people. And he's like, oh, and my dad's a NASA engineer. He's a very practical, pragmatic man. And I was expecting him to give me the typical engineer speech. It's like, you put all this time and effort into this, and and that's actually a stable career path. But my dad's like, no, your mom and I always thought that you should be an actor. We just didn't want to tell you what to do with your life. But yeah, go ahead and finish up your take a year off, get your head straight, then finish up your degree, and then go do what you want to do.
That's an amazing story.
Yeah.
It is. Yeah, and I think it's important to tell that story, because you overcame a lot. I mean, from being picked on, and then with your mom passing away from cancer. I mean, we've all experienced loss in our life, and it's tragic. And you chose it was great, because my mom was very influential in my life too. And how she just, there's big moments of your life that sent you on a path, the path I believe you were meant to take. So and education is important, and
Yeah.
I think teachers, they're underpaid and underappreciated.
I agree.
So yeah, and I mean, it's just I look at teachers kind of like whether an actor or a wrestler, because we have creative we're creative in some ways too, being a wrestler. And with teachers, let them be creative on how to get, set the standards and set your goals high, on a state level, and then, tell them to go and work. I think sometimes, if you micromanage a teacher, they lose their creativity. Kind of like when you're working with a director, the more freedom you have, if it's a 50-50, it's like, okay, and sometimes you come up with something better. And obviously it's good to hear that story, because it motivates that person that's watching, because you never want to sit on your couch at 50 years old and go, I wonder what if I would have done, so
yeah.
But yeah.
The big question is, how do you go from
agree.
Grandpa Who to Art the Clown? Was there a little Art the Clown in Grandpa Who, or is there a little Grandpa Who and Art the Clown?
Yeah, I would say there's a little bit of Grandpa Who and Art the Clown. Grandpa Who was a very cantankerous individual too, so it's just like, yeah, I think Art has a little bit of that side in him where he's like, okay, enough of this crap. It's just like, yeah.
Get off that.
Yeah, exactly. It's like when she's wailing on him, and he surprises the who you think is the main character with that one incident, because I don't want to ruin it, but it's
Right.
like, yeah, that's like, yeah, yep, enough of this. Enough of this. So yeah, I think I brought a lot of Grandpa, and I think I brought a lot of Grinch to him as well.
Oh yeah, you can tell. You can tell. So what do you aspire after Art the Clown? You want to keep playing Art the Clown? Do you have other aspirations as far as comedy or different movie roles or?
Oh, of course. I mean, I'll play art as long as we can keep making movies that are right for him. It's like as long as we keep staying true to the character, I'm happy to make as many films as possible. He's such a fun character. Why would I want to turn that down? But of course, there are other films I would love to, like other type of roles that I would love to do, especially comedy. I would love to do comedy.
Yeah.
That's always been what I've done. That's where my heart is. I love to make people laugh, and so of course that. I mean, there's also like my dream role, which I have gotten to play on a web series, but it's like I would really love to tackle him on more of a mainstream like TV series, especially instead of a film, because that way with the TV series you have the luxury of being able to really flesh out the character over a season or so, and that would be the Joker. He's like I've always wanted to see a true depiction of the comic book version of the character brought to life live instead of just in the animated style. And so I would love to be able to tackle that character one day, because I think there's a lot I can bring to him and stuff like that too.
Oh, I definitely see it. Yeah.
You'd be a good villain. Yeah, with good decent villain.
Right.
So, he's so fun.
Yeah.
You played the Joker, right? What, 6 or 7 episodes on a series?
Yeah, it's called Nightwing Escalation. We're still supposed to be finishing up the series, but it's a fan-made series, so we only film when we all can do it. But of course, right now we can't do anything like that either. So, but I mean, yeah, he's so much fun. It's just I've basically blended a lot of different versions of the character, like Mark Hamill's version and Cesar Romero. I would think are my biggest influences on how I play him. But I love the character. He puts a smile on my face.
Hey, came the closest to nailing it out of all the characters, all the people that's done the Joker. Who do you think is?
Oh, it's Mark Hamill by far.
Mark Hamill, yeah.
Yeah, it's just like he truly understands who he is as a character, and you've seen him evolve with the character too over the time. It's really interesting going back and watching those first episodes of Batman the Animated Series and seeing how his voice changes and how the characterization changes from that to where he was doing him in like the Arkham games and like the latest version where he did the Killing Joke animated film. It's like, wow, he's really evolved the character a lot, but it still stayed true to the comic book.
What you got to say about that, Terry?
Oh no, you brought up Cesar Romero, and how great is he went and did I pronounce his last name correctly? Romero?
Yes.
Okay. I love how he went and shaved his mustache.
Oh, I know.
Yeah, and they were like, "All right, we'll just work with it," because I guess they just like he was the the guy they wanted, and he's like, "Yeah, I'll do it, but I won't shave my." If that's the story, I think I read something on that, and he's like, "Yeah, I'm not shaving my mustache." All right, cool.
Because that was his like trademark look, was that mustache. So he didn't want to shave that off. But I'm like, but what's so funny is like when I watched that as a kid on my like the old standard definition TV, my little 8-inch TV back in the day, you didn't notice the mustache.
Yeah,
it's like the HD days. That's when you notice the mustache. Like, oh yeah, how did you not see that mustache this whole entire time?
Which is great. So.
Yeah.
He's who introduced that character to a lot of us. I mean, mainstream wise. So. It was pretty. It's pretty amazing.
So good. He was so theatrical with it, which I loved about it.
Yeah. Now, who do you watch, and who do you pull? Like a lot of wrestlers will watch wrestlers from the past, and we'll try to pull some from them, whether it's moves or their character or whatever, or how they would deliver a promo. Do you like what are like a few of your actors that you really studied and that you've pulled things off of, or you think that helped you out?
Oh, that's very easy for me. That's I would say number one would be Rowan Atkinson, who played Mr. Bean. He was a huge influence on me. I loved his style of acting. Robin Williams, another great one. It's especially when it comes to improv, and he could just riff, and riff. It's just like, oh my God, the brain in that man. I was like, you couldn't stop him. You could give him anything. You could just walk to him, give him an object, and he would come up with a whole entire 5-minute routine about a pencil.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, that man was a freaking genius when it came to comedy. There's no one like him. No one
No.
can ever be like Robin Williams.
His stand-up was amazing too.
Oh my God, it was amazing. So those two. Then Jim Carrey was a huge influence on me as well. I just love his style of physical comedy. And Doug Jones is another great influence on me as well.
Great.
He's such a great character guy. He really understands how to utilize his bodily movements to portray a character. So
Such a
those
sweetheart.
four. Oh, Doug is I adore Doug. I got to meet him last year at a convention, and we hung out and just chatted for about an hour or so, just the two of us. And we weren't really even talking about the business. We were just learning about each other, and he was just the sweetest guy. He's like what really every human being should aspire to be. He's just such a sweet, generous man.
Right.
So talented, so talented.
Yeah, he's very good. He is so. All of his movies, every character he plays just comes across as like, wow, it's just.
Yeah, and what's so amazing about him too is like so many. I will name him, and people are like, "Who's Doug Jones?" I'm like, "Oh, you know who Doug Jones is? You just don't realize it." And I start naming characters. They're like, "Oh my God, that's him!" I'm like, yeah, because he every time he plays a character, he's totally different too.
Right. I mean,
it's just like
superheroes to villains to creatures, and he's the best creatures. I mean, and Hellboy, Abe Sapien was just.
It's just so great. It's just I love watching him work. I'm because I can learn so much from watching him, and that's why I love people like that where I can just watch them and just learn. I feel like a sponge. I'm just soaking up so much knowledge from watching people like that.
I think he's a perfect role model for young actors too.
Definitely. It's just like, especially in this day and age where you don't see that style of acting as much anymore. It's all about the fart jokes and the verbal humor and stuff, that the actual physical comedies that you saw back in the day. Because the original comedians back in the day were all former vaudevillian performers, so they were used to performing in front of an audience, and so they were all about those. Or it was the silent film age where they didn't have verbal dialogue, so they had to convey everything through physical actions.
Yeah, broke Terry's heart. He's probably going to do a fart joke until you said that.
Yeah. Well, Gary's always telling me watch him and learn, so.
Oh, yeah. I still enjoy a good fart joke though. Don't get me wrong there. It's like, especially if you've been on set with us, it's just like there are a lot of fart jokes happening. It's just they just don't make it on film.
Right. Now, what would you suggest if someone wanted to get into acting? Like a kid in school, or what would you suggest? What route would you suggest them to take? Start with theater or go to
definitely theater. I would say definitely start with theater. That's really where you learn all you need to know as an actor in so many that you can transfer that knowledge to other media is such as film. It's because with theater you learn how to think on your feet, because when you're filming, things can go wrong and you can just redo the take. When you're on stage, if something goes wrong, you have to still keep going with the scene and just go with the flow. And so it's a great learning exercise right there. And it's theater's the way to go, because and you learn from those other actors that are better than you. I always kind of hated it when I was in a show and I felt like I was the best one in the show. That sounds egotistical, but it's like that was something that happened, and I hated that because I didn't have someone I could learn off of.
Right.
Because that's my thing. It's like anytime I work with other people, I'm always trying to learn things from other people. I think every single actor I've worked with, I've taken something from their skill set and put it up into my own little mental Rolodex of things, because there's always something new to learn. So that's something I always tell other actors is constantly observe everybody that you watch, not just on TV and film, but in day-to-day life. I mean, that's what I love about living in New York City is like there's so many different types of people from every walk of life. So I can just be on the subway and sometimes I would just put my book down and just observe everybody in the train around me.
Yeah.
And you see so many different types of people, and I'm like, I could use this, so many things I'm watching right now as a character one day, and I love that.
Right.
So what's next? What's next for David Howard Thornton?
Well, I'm finishing up Terrifier 2, of course, but after that, I'm going to be working on another horror film with some of the guys that have been working with us on Terrifier that were also in Terrifier 1, the Fuzz on the Lens guys. They played our exterminator that I decapitated, and they played the two cops that come in at the end of the film. They're making a film called Stream that we are hoping is going to become another franchise, and we've got a lot of horror names involved with that one. I think Alyssa Rose is going to be in that, Jeffrey Combs, some other people as well. That's going to be a fun one. It's a fun concept. I wish I could say more about it, but I get to play one of the villains in it, so that's going to be a lot of fun.
Is it a spin-off, or is it a totally separate franchise?
It's a totally separate franchise. So I play a different character. I actually play another silent character in that one too. So that's going to be a challenge for me, because I'm going to have to find a way to differentiate him from Art. So I'm like, okay, how do I play two different silent type of characters? So I'm like, okay, I got to do something different with him. But he's kind of artish in a lot of ways too. So there's going to be some similarities, of course. But other than that, next year I'm going to be filming a horror western that I'm not actually playing the bad guy in that. I'm playing the anti-hero. I play a cowboy that's brought back from the dead to seek revenge for against this gang of outlaws that murdered him and his family. They hung his family in front of him. They hung him and burned him alive.
Oh man!
And so he's basically brought back from the dead by an Indian shaman, and his whole face is burned off. So it's basically a skull. So he knows that Skull Cowboy. So he goes on a quest for revenge against the guys that killed him. And it's just crazy over the top, like action in this. And we already have like Lou Temple that's supposed to be involved in it, and Sean Patrick Flannery. So that's going to be a lot of fun. So yeah, Lou's playing.
A couple episodes ago.
What's that?
We just had Lou on a couple episodes ago.
Oh, I still have not met him yet. I can't wait to talk to him, because I think we're supposed to be at a convention coming up soon.
You will love him.
Oh, that's what I hear, because we're going to have a lot of scenes together, because he plays one of the bad guys in. So I'm excited about that. So that's going to be fun.
You hooked me at horror western. So
yeah, I know. Yeah. I love westerns. I absolutely love westerns. I don't know what it is about them, but I just think they're fun films. I just, anything western related, I'm just like, ooh, I like video games, like Red Dead Redemption, all that kind of stuff. Oh my God, I played the crap out of those games.
Well, we're gonna have to wrap it up. So
right.
I want you to tell the fans where they can see you, where they can find you, social media wise, website.
Sure.
You got your t-shirt too. T-shirt.
Yeah, I got my little Terrifier t-shirt on right now from Terror Threads. They do a great line of the stuff. I think they're actually doing a sale right now on them right now too, so that's just great.
Where can Terrifier t-shirts?
Where can fans find the t-shirt?
Terrorthreads.com.
Okay.
They sell them. They have a whole line of them. They're fantastic. They've outdone themselves on those. Other than that, you can find me on Facebook and Instagram under my name. And since conventions are kind of hard to do right now, I've been doing a lot of cameo videos, and I charge the same for an autograph as I do for a cameo video. So it's just like $30. So I've been doing a lot of birthday videos and graduation videos and stuff like that. Sometimes someone just needs a good cheering up, and I've been doing that as well. So I do what I can. But that's basically how you can find me.
Cameo, that's a big thing. I know a lot of people do that. Now, do you just go to Cameo and look for your name, or how would they find you on Cameo?
Yeah, you just look me up. I think I'm under David H. Thornton on there, or David Howard Thornton, some variation of that name.
Okay. Yeah, that's it. Whoever came up with that concept is great, because it's like you could get a birthday wish or something like that, and it's a great way to reach your fans and stuff too,
It really is. It's a brilliant concept. So simple too. It's just like, I just answer it, and like I can just record a video right there, spend a few minutes doing that, send it, and on its way. It's a great idea. I'm like, whoever came up with that was thinking.
Right. So, well, hey, thanks. I really enjoyed talking to you, and then hopefully we'll run into each other at a convention or something.
Oh, I'm sure it'll happen.
Yeah, and then hopefully Gary's there. He'll Gary's always good for some laughs, He always bosses me around a lot. Yeah.
Hey, you want to stick around while we announce our winner? We had a contest. They were going to win a piece of duct tape, because that's our logo.
Oh, sweet.
They're going to win a Terry and Gary's Low Expectations rookie card from Topps, signed by Rhino, and Terry and Gary's Low Expectation t-shirt.
Fantastic.
The winner is MJ Gore.
Woohoo!
Congratulations.
That name sounds so familiar too. I think I know who that is.
Really?
Yeah.
Give a shout out to MJ Gore then.
Yeah. Congratulations, MJ. Woo!
I think it's North Carolina, actually, if I remember the thread. Yeah, I think it's North Carolina. So we have a fan in North Carolina. Oh my goodness.
Yes. Oh yeah.
I actually want to go watch Terrifier now.
Yeah.
It's a fun one.
What's that?
It's a fun one to watch. I mean,
Yeah.
I usually hate watching myself in anything I've done. This is like the first time I've actually been okay watching myself. I'm like, oh, this is a fun film.
Right.
Remember to close your eyes when Dawn gets cut in half, okay?
Hey, we got heat over that.
Cut in half.
No, and it's cool because it's one of those movies you can watch over and over again, and I'm sure you'll find things you didn't see the first or second time. So I'm definitely looking forward to watching it again.
Oh, good. There might be some things that you'll pick up on after the second one comes out, maybe even the third one that you didn't pick up on the first one too. So it's
Okay.
There's some connections there, very subtle connections.
Right. And that's what I love, when that connection, and especially if they're subtle.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Well, we can't wait. And I just want to say thank you for coming on. It was a pleasure meeting you.
Thank you.
Can't wait to see what else Art the Clown and David Howard Thornton does in the future.
Oh, yeah, me too. It's exciting.
Yeah.
Yay! People gonna die.
Right.
All right, bro. Thanks again, David.
Thank you.
Oh,
Thank
no
you
problem,
much.
guys. You take care and you stay safe out there.
Yes, for sure.
You
Thank
too.
you.
Hope you get some sleep.
Oh, yeah, me too. Oh, boy. All right. Y'all take care and have a good one.
You too. And make sure you guys tune in next week to Terry and Gary's Low Expectations podcast. We're going to have it on YouTube here pretty soon, iTunes, and Impact Studios. So, all right. Thanks again, guys.
Cool.
All right.
Bye.
Bye.